Cuban legend Guillermo the Jackal Rigondeaux takes the ring.
This guy's a genius inside the ring.
Standing in his way, he's one of boxing's most vibrant champions.
Riel Casimero. He's got personality, he's got power, he is a force.
The acid tests are complete. The results came back positive.
Cuban legend Guillermo the Jackal Rigondeaux takes the ring.
Straight left hand there, just dumps for a three. On the counter. This is the greatest attraction in boxing.
Though in his way stands another experienced and dangerous opponent.
He is a banger.
A hardened road warrior from the Philippines who packs vicious, unrelenting power of his own.
Finish it right here, right now, and finish it he has.
And so with 3 of the 4 major straps on the line, 2020 will see 2 of the division's most fearsome, in-form fighters battle for supremacy.
Riel Casimero. He's got personality, he's got power, he is a force.
Riel Casimero.
It doesn't matter where.
When the unification fight against Nonito Donaire failed, Riel Casimero returned to the original version and announced the fight against Guillermo Rigondeaux on August 14th.
Where you come from. Sports fans love greatness.
This guy's a genius inside the ring.
The power that man possesses in his hands is a joke.
Is dominating world-class opposition like nobody's business. He is a badass little dude.
The acid test itself is a moment that comes in every fighter's career. A night where stakes rise and critics lurk. As skills, ability, and bravery go under the magnifying glass more intensely than ever before.
Spine-tingling anticipation.
This moment for Japan's hottest asset came last November.
Monster versus the legend, that is exactly what it is.
And whilst it revealed that the monster is indeed a man of flesh and blood, it also emphasized his grit, determination, and worthiness in the passing of the bantamweight torch.
Well, he's done for only the 3rd time in his career.
After signing with Top Rank upon winning the Super Series, the 27-year-old now prepares to take the U.S. by storm. And with 16 knockouts in 19 fights, backed up by the sport's most impressive offensive arsenal, it's clear to see why.
He shakes his head and he's not going to make it. And we talked about tasting the power, and he's tasted it now.
Training under the guidance of his father, Shinjo, the pair continue one of the most prominent father-son duos in the sport.
One incredible fight. I used to train with him, I used to run with him. That guy, yeah, he knocks him out. He's a freak of nature, isn't he?
You gotta get up and go get it.
It's certainly a risky fight, especially coming off an orbital injury. But with credit to his throwback style and willingness to face the best, a victory against the Filipino this year would see him put a serious dent in the pound-for-pound rankings.
And that is devastating once again.
I'm fearless.
However, training out in Florida, the man opposite him will be looking to break a glass ceiling of his own. Underrated and relatively unknown in the U.S., the 3-weight world champion is far more dangerous than many realize.
Casimero is no joke. He's a real killer, and he can punch, and he's a ruthless, spiteful fighter.
Despite being nicknamed Cuatro Alas, which translates to 4 aces, Casimero plans to leave nothing down to luck come fight night.
I'm very excited this fight, and see you and coming fight.
Continuing a 5-fight knockout streak and hoping to turn the new influx of fans from Inoue's fan-friendly style into his own, despite previous victories over Mexico's Guevara at light flyweight and Britain's Charlie Edwards at flyweight, the 31-year-old is currently riding a wave of momentum above any other in his career.
Casimiro's on a good run of form, and I've seen him, ringside, and the power that man possesses in his hands is a joke.
And recently overcoming an acid test of his own, he crushed Zolani Tete, another of the division's biggest stars, in just 3 rounds.
Is he okay? Casimero wants to finish it right here, right now, and finish it he has.
So now, fighting under Manny's MP Promotions, he embraces the Miami Heat alongside Mimo Heredia and Pedro Roque, the man behind over 500 Olympic medals, formerly dubbed by Team USA as the best coach in the world. And whilst the odds stack against him, the Filipino sent out a message to those who consider him an underdog.
Casimero, he may be low because the opponent is so very good, but all my opponent is so very good, but you know, I'm a strong man.
As he brings a skill set, a willingness, and a desire that promises fireworks when the two collide.
Yeah, he wants to fight Inoue anytime soon.
He want to knock out all people. He want to knock out. Then yeah, I'll do my best to knock him out.
A collision of 2 3-weight champions, it really doesn't get much better. And as we look through the tail of the tape, though the swaying factor will be experience and momentum, with Casimiro's 6 additional years of professional experience.
If Casimero is ready, nobody can stop him, nobody can beat him.
Where many expected Donaire to be a pushover for Naoya, it drew a Fight of the Year tear.
They go toe-to-toe to the final bells.
And where many expected Tete to be too slick and too technical for John Riel, he simply blew him out of the water.
Casimero needs to pick his punches, and he can't find the clinch.
Donaire rewound the clock to put in a career-best performance, and whilst it still wasn't enough to beat the monster, it offers his countrymen something to build on.
I planned how to knock him out.
The fight itself will invite a red-hot pace. Both men have spectacular footwork, with Casimiro's in-and-out movement being some of the best in the division. The one thing the Filipino can be guilty of is sometimes waiting for the perfect shot to present itself, something he cannot afford to do. The story of the matchup will be how well both men take and distribute each other's power. Inoue's speed and boxing could create openings for him to apply pressure, and if he gets his man on the back foot, he is probably the most complete finisher in the sport.
Right hand, left hand, and McDonald sags into the ropes again. The referee has jumped in and waved this off.
Though you'd be crazy, even with his track record, to think it's a walk in the park for the Japanese star. After all, we saw him drawn into a firefight in November, one that swung the fight wide open. Should the same take place at the Mandalay Bay, anything could happen.
Counter right hand, Inoue rock to his boots.
With 2 fantastic punchers, the odds certainly don't favor those ringside hearing the final bell. Though with 2 men who chose legacy over comfort, the real winners will be the fans. And with names like Neri and Ubali lying in wait, we can expect an undisputed bantamweight collision in the not-too-distant future.
I think we can knock him out. Bob Arum, make that fight.
Naoya Inoue looks on course to become a true boxing great and has all the tools and natural ability to do so.
I think as soon as Nui lands, it's game over.
However, John Riel Casimero has been described as the best boxing champ you've never heard of, something that could certainly change in the coming months.
When the unification fight against Nonito Donaire failed, John Riel Casimero returned to the original version and announced the fight against Guillermo Rigondeaux on August 14th. Despite the fact that the Cuban boxer is already 40 years old, his boxing skills are at a high level, so I think he can give it a good fight to the Filipino. And no doubt he will have his chances. But Casimero is younger, and he has the real power in this weight class. In this video, let's take a look at their best boxing fights in recent time. Rigondeaux vs. Ceja. On June 23, 2019 in Las Vegas, Rigondeaux faced Ceja. The Cuban boxer had only one loss from Vasily Lomachenko, but in this fight, he was close to losing again. The fight was very competitive, and Rigondeaux had an advantage only in the first round.
Yesterday, he's been at the same weight for the last. He's really serious about his craft. He's always finding. Now, in all fairness, he's playing right into the back of the head. Well, inside fighter right there. He's taking a chance that right now is not losing in his legs. Always saying the punch spots. Oh, bring it up. You stand in one spot, right now. Him. Oh, he got caught with a shot, but he's not left. Yeah, roughly. The guy's putting his punches in so short and so fast. He's really not giving. Get down. Anybody to win, I just say comment you can win.
Back in the ring soon. Let's turn it back.
His game plan is doing the same in the pocket. He's not even moving on his chin. And Seha had a great behind the counter. He threw a couple of nice bodies. He's really putting a nice little hook behind it now. Well, I'm sure he'll try to fix him around. Jump in, bring it down. And so there's a because of. Oh!
Thank you very much, Kenny. What did you?
Well, put me in. So he's just more definitely.
In the next rounds, Seha threw more punches and was more accurate. But a great overhand punch from Guillermo Rigondeaux changed everything in this fight. Julio Seha was down, and the referee stopped the fight in the 8th round.
Which is important. Oh, it's hurt there. Oh, he's hurt. Oh, unofficial score, Marcos Villegas. Marcos. Seha has the edge right now. Like. Throws his counter. His hands are back. He really wants to hurt him. So it's not a problem. All right, here we go. It's back. Look, I'm trying to bring it down. There's a nice right hand up with. Oh, no, man. He should have pulled his own into it. He would have scored before he gets his hand back. But now. Oh! And Seha is down. 2 with 1. He hit him with that's it. It's over. Oh.
Casimero vs. Tate. On November 30th, 2019 in Birmingham, England, Casimero faced Tate for the WBO belt in the Bantam division. This battle was between two punchers, and it was clear that the fight would not go through all rounds, but it finished even earlier than all expected.
Chief Executive Officer or something of promotion. Not sure which it was.
Got too much experience just to rush in because he knows he'll walk. That's an advantage he always has over every fight.
Little hits at the moment.
Yeah, it is. So, and again, Casimero trying to well, obviously, it's better than everyone you can. Not mine. I'm just all fight with a longer reach. I want to keep it on. You got to.
In the first 2 rounds, both boxers tried to find their distance, but their movement was in a high level and they didn't have more chances. In the 3rd round, the fight was over. Casimero caught Tate with double right hooks and he was down. He tried to survive, but in a few seconds there was another knockdown in the fight. After all that, the referee stopped the fight.
Needs to pick his punches and he can't find a clean shot. I don't think there was a punch which put him down. He just collapsed to the canvas. Wants to finish it right here, right now, and finish it he has. Changes hands in sensational fashion.
he should be able to set up his punches and get to Rigondeaux without being punished for it. That is, if the Jackal is not going to outbox him. What do you think? Can a prime Casimero beat an aging master boxer in Rigondeaux?
Rigondeaux versus Casimero for the 118-pound world title, live on Showtime.